Alright guys, so we're going to do part 2 of slope. We're going to review things from last time, and then we're going to extend it further to some other things. And part of your review is going to be things that I saw that we were not strong in, so we're going to review them. Okay? First thing real quick. This slide you do not have to write if you feel like you don't need to, but I'm just going to go over it. The first thing is that slope, so we have slope, right? Slope is the angle of the line. Okay? So, positive slope means that it's always going up. Okay? So it's going up. It could be up there or down here, but it's going up to the right. Negative slope means it's going down to the right. So anything like that is negative slope. Okay? Zero slope is straight across. Doesn't matter where it is, it's just a straight across line. And no slope or undefined slope is straight up and down. So this should all be kind of familiar. Okay? 4 different types of slope. And we'll really get into graphs later, but today we're going to be dealing mainly with equations. So I'm going to show you what y'all were doing wrong last time, so I need you to write this down. The first thing that you need to remember is that you must solve for y first. Okay, so for example, if I gave you this, a lot of y'all said that slope is 4, because slope is a number with x. But no, you must solve for y first. Must. The reason for that is that your calculator, this button right here, if you can see it, it says y equals if it's not rubbed away. So to put something in the calculator, it has to be y equals. That's why we have to solve for y. Okay? The second thing is that slope is a number. Okay? It is the number with x. Make sure you write that down. It is the number with x. Okay? So for example, you don't have to write this down, but y equals 3x plus 2. It's already solved for y. The slope is 3. It is not 3x. Slope is only a number. There are no letters allowed. So slope would just be 3. I did not count off on your assignment from before, but today I would. Okay, so make sure that slope is only a number. So let's solve this for y. So I draw my line. I'm y. Phi is my best friend. I'm getting rid of 4x. The opposite of positive 4x is negative 4x. Whoa. On both sides. Okay, this goes away. You're left with negative 5y equals. I cannot subtract these because they're different, so I have to write them side by side. It does not matter which one you put first, but us math people tend to put our x's first. And then that's positive 40, so plus 40. You could have done 40 minus 4x. That's fine, no worries. And then we divide by negative 5. Make sure that's a negative. This negative comes down. Okay, so we divide everything by negative 5. Another thing that I see y'all struggling with, and I'll talk about it here, is how to put this in the calculator. When you read a book, you start at the top and then you slowly go down to the bottom. So same thing here. When you put this in the calculator, you have to do the top number divided by the bottom number. So negative 4 divided by negative 5. So negative 4 divided by negative 5. I'm going to pretend you can see that. And I get a decimal, but remember, I want fractions. So math, enter. And that is, it's hard to read, but that says 4/5, and it's positive. So positive 4/5. Do not forget your x. That is very, very, very important. And then we put 40, a positive 40 divided by negative 5. So 40 divided by negative 5 is negative 8. Okay? Now, real quick, a lot of y'all are stopping here, but the question is, what is the slope? And remember, slope is the number with x. So this slope, the number that's with x, is 4/3. Okay? Not the x, just the number, 4/3. So, the slope is 4/3. Whoa, not 4/3, 4/5. I'm sorry. Bad math teacher. Okay, 4/5. And is that slope positive, negative, 0, undefined? And it is a positive number, so and it is positive. Okay? Notice I have a capital letter and a period. Look at that. Do that. A lot of y'all are messing that whole situation up. Okay? So, you must solve for y first. Make sure you only write down the number that's with x for the slope, and then tell me if it's positive or negative. Okay? Positive number is positive, negative number is negative slope. Okay? Also, to check it, you can put in the calculator. So, go to y equals. parenthesis 4/5 x plus 8, minus 8, I'm sorry. I go to graph, and you'll see that the slope is going up, so that's positive. Okay? Alright, so here's something new. Okay? Here's something new. What if there are different letters? Like, what if there's not x and y? Okay? Well, it's still going to tell you to solve for something. So for here, I'm going to put, we're going to solve for b. So we're going to solve for b. Okay? Even if there's different letters, you still do this. Solve for whatever it tells you to solve for. So let me backtrack. If there are x's and y's, you 100% always solve for y. Okay? If there's not, then solve for what it tells you to solve for. Okay? So here it says solve for b. We're going to solve for b. Okay? So draw a line. Where b, 3 is our best friend, kick out 6a. The opposite of a positive 6a is negative 6a. Okay? That goes away. Positive 3b comes down. Our symbol comes down. I have to write these side by side because they're different. Now, I would normally put the a first, but just to switch stuff up, I'm going to put the 24 first. Minus 6a. Okay? And then divide by 3. A positive 3. So you need to think, am I going to switch the sign? And hopefully you say, no, you're not, because it's a positive. 24 divided by 3, I'll just tell you, is 8. And negative, that's a negative 6. Negative 6 divided by 3, if you didn't know, as I put my calculator, yes, I'm on bed, is a negative 2. So minus 2, and then don't forget the a. Okay? Now this is normally where you stop, but I'm asking for the slope. And slope's the number with x, but you're going to say, there's no x's up here. But this is normally where the y is, and this is normally where the x is. So slope would be the negative 2, okay, because that's normally where the x is. So even if it's different letters, you can still do slope. So slope is negative 2, so the slope is negative 2. Not negative 2x, just the number, and it is, since it's a negative number, the slope is negative. Okay? So make sure you're doing that. And you could put that in the calculator and see that it goes down. Okay? So different letters, no problem. Zero slope. You are not going to see this very often, but I just want to show it to you. So hit pause and write that down. And let's draw our line. Now remember, to find slope, we must solve for y first. So I'm y, 3 is my best friend, I have to get rid of positive 2x. The opposite of adding 2x is subtracting 2x. Okay? And over here, I'm going to put it with the x's. Okay? That goes away. 3y comes down. And you're going to see something weird. 2 minus 2 is just 0. There are 0 x's, correct? Now, do not write 0x, but just above it, I'm going to write it here real quick. 0x. Don't write it, but we're going to come back to it. These basically just cross off because there's no x's left. And then the 9 comes down. Positive 9. And then we divide by 3. And y equals 9 divided by 3 is just 3. Okay? So this is the answer. And then I'm going to say, what's the slope? And you're going to say, well, there is no number with x. So let me show you two different things. First, I'm going to graph it. Y equals 3, right? So in the calculator, I'm going to go to y equals and clear that out and just put 3. And you'll see when I graph it that I'm just going to get a straight horizontal line. And remember, that is 0 slope. And another way you can tell is, look, there are 0 x's. There are no x's there. So this right here is 0 slope. So you put the slope is 0. Means there's no change. It's not positive, it's not negative, it is 0 slope. Okay? Or you could even write out the word 0. My bad. Okay? Capital letter, period, bam. Okay? This is not going to happen often. But if it does, I don't want you to freak out like, what's going on? Okay? It is possible for there to be 0 slope. Okay? So if the x's cancel out, there's no x's, it is 0 slope. So another way to write it, so let's go ahead and write that right here, is put no x's means 0 slope. If you want to write out the word 0, go ahead and do that. Okay? No x's means 0 slope. Alright. What about undefined or no slope? Okay? So, this also very rarely happens. It is not going to happen very often to you, and you cannot graph this in the calculator. It is rare, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. So, remember how 0 slope is where there is no x's? Basically, no y's means undefined slope. So, let's put that to the side. No y's means undefined. Okay? Remember, undefined slope means straight up and down, and that is impossible to graph in the calculator. Just won't do it. But I'll show you how to solve it anyway. You would solve this just as you would solve for x. So you would draw your line. Your x, 6 is your best friend. I subtract 2. We have done this before, over and over again. 26 minus 2 is 24. And then you would divide by 6, correct? Do you change your sign? Nope, because your best friend's positive. And 24 divided by 6 is just 4. Okay? So if you have an answer, so basically if your answer has no y's, and I ask for the slope, then you're going to say the slope is undefined. Because if your answer does not have a y in it, then it means it's undefined, or you could say no slope. So put there is no slope. Very, very rare, not going to happen very often, but you are going to see it. So make sure, I just want to show it to you. Okay? Alright, last thing, then we're done. What about a word problem? What if you had a word problem, and how would you talk about this? Okay? Okay, so normally you just pause, write this down. Pause, write this down, make sure that's a period, you can barely see that. Okay? Alright, a local plumber charges $20 to come to your house and $15 an hour. Right? So, no matter what, he's going to charge you $20. So, $20 plus $15 an hour. So, you put 15h for hours if you wanted to, or you could do 15x. So, I'm going to do h. Okay? And then there's no other number, right? It doesn't equal anything. So if you don't have another number, you just start off and always just put y equals. Okay? That would just be the money. Money equals that, right? So if I gave you a word problem, and then I said, what's the slope? What you would say is, well, slope's the number with x, right? There is no x, but that's normally where the x is, yes? So here the slope is a positive 15, because that's the number with x. So slope is 15. I'll have to put $15 there. And is it positive or negative? You're going to say it's positive. And it is positive. The last thing I want to say, just real quickly, and this is the very last thing before we move on, or no, second to last thing, is, remember the last video I said that slope is the rate of change. Rate of change. Okay, it's the angle of the line, if you have a line, but it's also just the rate of change. What it means is what's changing. So, for example, if you look at this word problem, he charges $20 no matter what. $20 to come to his house. But he charges $15 an hour. So, every hour, how much you charge changes, right? So, 1 hour would be 15, 2 hours would be 30, 3 hours would be 45. So, when you see what's changing, that's going to be your slope in the situation, okay? And we'll kind of really get into that next week about what that really means when you look at stuff, okay? So, that's the last thing. Real quickly, though, just to say something, because not all of y'all, but like half of y'all did this. That is not how you spell goes. Like when you put the line goes up or the line goes down, this is how you spell goes. Just your English tip for the day, okay? No, yes. Okay? Alright. There you go.